Ladies and gentlemen of my Alpha family, listen close. Today we're not here to talk about saints or sinners. No, we're here to talk about something much darker, something that has been eating away at your spirit while you slept peacefully in the belief that the world had some semblance of fairness, but no, not today. Today we're peeling back the layers of deception and revealing the truth of how the world sees you, how the world has seen you all along, and how you've let it pass you by. You see, there's a cruel irony in the way things work out, isn't there? It's funny how people are quick to point out the flaws in others, but are so blind to the gaping holes in their own souls. It's as though the very act of criticizing someone else's weaknesses serves as a shield, a distraction from their own flaws. They project their own failures onto you, while you stand there, quietly absorbed in your own battles, fighting demons they will never see because you don't let them see. You're not the type to beg for pity or scream for attention. You simply endure. You simply rise every time you're knocked down, and you keep your eyes forward, never stopping to acknowledge the venomous words that have been thrown your way, because you know better. You know better than to let them into your mind. But oh, how they love to point out your flaws, how they love to dissect your every move, like vultures circling above, waiting for the slightest misstep, a crack in your armor so they can sink their claws in. And all the while, they've never once stopped to look within themselves, to recognize the filth in their hearts, the deceit in their words, the ugliness in their actions. No, instead, they remain blissfully unaware or worse, yet they refuse to acknowledge it, because admitting the truth would shatter their fragile egos. It's easier to focus on you, easier to point at your mistakes and magnify them until they become the sum of who you are than it is to face their own darkness. You know what's worse? The worst part of all of this is how you keep on moving forward. You've learned how to ignore their criticisms, how to block out the noise, and yet it still hurts, doesn't it? You're human after all. You weren't built to be invincible, to feel nothing. To be a machine, you feel pain. You feel anger. You feel frustration when others drag you down, simply because they can't rise on their own. It's the way of the world. You see, the weak ones, the fragile ones who lack the strength to stand on their own, have to tear down those who are rising, those who are fighting back against the odds, because it's the only way they can justify their own helplessness. And you keep letting them do it. You keep letting them target your heart and soul with their poison, while you stand there stoically unaffected on the surface. But underneath, there's a fire burning. There's a rage waiting to be unleashed, and it won't be long before it erupts into something they will never understand. But let's talk about that for a second. Let's talk about the fact that while they've been so busy pointing out your flaws, you've been busy doing something far more powerful. You've been busy developing the kind of resilience that would crush their fragile egos if they had the strength to understand it. While they've been so caught up in their own insecurities, pointing fingers at you for things they can't even comprehend, you've been quietly building yourself into something unbreakable, something they will never be able to tear down. Your heart remains pure because you choose to love even when they've tried to teach you hate. Your spirit remains unyielding because you choose to rise even when they've done everything in their power to make you fall. While they were busy pointing out flaws in you, your kind heart kept ignoring theirs. They've been blinded by their own darkness, so much so that they fail to see the damage they've done to themselves while they've been trying to tear you apart. They think they've got it all figured out. They think that their judgment means something, but what they don't realize is that they've been living in a false reality where their own flaws are invisible to them. They've become masters of disguise, experts at hiding their own shortcomings by focusing on yours. It's a tactic as old as time to distract from your own weaknesses by pointing out someone else's. But here's the thing they don't get. They don't get that you see through their act. You see right through it. And while they've been so focused on destroying you with their words, you've been quietly sharpening your own blade, waiting for the moment when it's time to strike back. And when that moment comes, it will be a moment they never expected. But it's not just about striking back. No, this is about something deeper than that. It's about understanding that their flaws are not yours to carry. Their judgment is not yours to own. It's about realizing that their hatred towards you stems not from any real fault of yours, but from their own insecurities, their own inability to accept their own darkness. And as much as they try to bring you down, as much as they try to make you feel small or insignificant, you continue to rise and grow stronger, because you've learned that the only person whose opinion truly matters is your own. And here's the part that cuts the deepest. They know this. They know that you've grown stronger in spite of their efforts. They know that your spirit can't be broken, and it terrifies them. It terrifies them to see someone so unfazed by their attempts to tear them apart. It's as if you've become a mirror, reflecting back all the things they can't stand about themselves, all the flaws they've been trying to ignore. And the more they see you thrive, the more they try to drag you down, the harder they push against you, because it's the only way they can feel like they've won. But here's the truth. They never will win, because they're too weak to ever understand what true strength looks like. So let them point out your flaws. Let them tear you down with their cruel words. Let them try to make you feel less than. They will never understand the power of your resilience, the power of your heart. They will never understand what it takes to rise again and again after everything they've thrown at you, because they simply don't have it in them. They will never know what it means to fight with honor, to keep going, even when the world tells you to stop. They will never know the satisfaction of knowing that no matter how hard they try, they can never break you. You've been the bigger person in all of this. You've been the one who's kept their head high while they've wallowed in their own misery. And it hasn't been easy, but you've done it because you know something they don't know. You know that the true measure of strength isn't in how loudly you can scream or how many people you can bring down. It's in how quietly you can stand when the world is trying to break you down. It's in how calmly you can walk away when they try to drag you into their chaos. It's in how unwavering you are in the face of everything that's been thrown at you. And they will never understand that because they're too consumed with their own weakness to ever grasp the power of your presence. Let them keep talking. Let them keep pointing out your flaws. Let them keep trying to make you feel small, because in the end, it's not you who will be destroyed by this. It's them. They are the ones who will burn in the fire they've been feeding while you stand untouched by the flames. And when it's all over, when they realize that their efforts have been in vain, when they finally understand that nothing they said or did ever had the power to break you, that's when they'll know the truth. They'll know the truth of who you really are. And by then it will be too late, because you will have already risen above them, already become something they will never be able to touch or reach. They will be left with nothing but their own empty words while you stand at the top of the mountain with the strength of someone who has fought and won. So stand tall. My brothers and sisters, stand tall in the face of their judgment, because you know the truth. You know that your worth isn't defined by their opinions. You know that your heart, your spirit, your resilience are the true markers of who you are, and they will never be able to take that away from you. Let them talk. Let them point out your flaws. Let them tear at you with their words, because in the end it's not you who will fall, it's them. You will rise again and again, and when you do, they will be left in the dust, wondering how they could have ever thought they had the power to break you. They had the power to break you, didn't they? You thought they did. In those moments of weakness, those fleeting moments when the weight of their words seemed too heavy to carry, you wondered if they had the strength to tear you apart. You felt the sting. You felt the crushing pressure as they pried into your deepest insecurities and used them as weapons. But let me remind you of something crucial. That was never real power. No, true power doesn't come from the words of others. It doesn't come from the lies, the false judgments, the venom they spew from their mouths. True power is not found in how much they can hurt you. It is found in how you stand after they try to destroy you. And let me tell you, they never had the power to break you, not truly. They could shout and yell. They could drag your name through the mud. They could throw every insult they could think of at you. And yet, here you are. Here you stand. Still breathing, still moving forward, still rising above it all. Their power was never real, because real power is something you have to build from within. It's the strength you cultivate when you decide not to let the cruelty of the world define you. It's the resilience you develop when you make the decision to rise every single time they try to knock you down. It's the grit you gather in those quiet moments when no one is watching, when they think you've been defeated, but you're quietly preparing for your next victory. They never had the power to break you. All they had was the illusion of control, a false sense of superiority built on their own insecurities and hatred. And it's laughable, really, how desperately they clung to that illusion, thinking they could tear you apart with their petty little games. What they don't understand is this: while they were busy wasting their energy trying to break you, you were quietly becoming something stronger. You were becoming a force they couldn't touch, a force they couldn't understand. Every time they poked and prodded at your weaknesses, every time they tried to make you feel small or insignificant, they were only strengthening you, refining you, preparing you for the moment when they would realize that they never had the power over you that they thought they did. You took every blow, every insult, every attack, and you used it as fuel. You turned their negativity into your drive. You used their hatred to fuel the fire that burns inside you, the fire that can never be extinguished. And now, here you are, unbreakable, unstoppable. You've reached a point where their words no longer have the same weight. They can scream and shout all they want, but you've learned something invaluable along the way. You've learned that their words don't define you. Their opinions don't matter, because the only opinion that matters is yours. And you have decided, you have made the conscious choice to no longer let their broken perceptions of you determine who you are. You've chosen to rise above them, to rise above the noise, to rise above their petty criticisms and their unfounded hatred. But let me tell you something. The real battle is not with them. It's not with the people who try to break you. The real battle is within you. It's the battle to stay true to yourself when the world is trying to tear you apart. It's the battle to keep moving forward, even when it feels like the weight of the world is on your shoulders. It's the battle to hold your ground, to hold onto your integrity, to keep your heart open when everyone around you is trying to close it off. And that battle, that silent war that rages within you, is the one that truly defines your strength. You've won that battle, and you will continue to win it, time and time again. Because every time they try to tear you down, every time they attempt to break you, you only get stronger. Their hatred doesn't make you weaker, it makes you stronger. Their words don't bring you to your knees, they build your resilience. And each time you rise from their attempts to tear you apart, you become more and more invincible. They think they've hurt you, they think they've broken you, but they've only helped you uncover the true depth of your strength. And now, you know it. You know that nothing can break you. It's time to stop giving them the power they never deserved. It's time to stop letting their opinions hold any weight in your life. Let them talk. Let them point out your flaws. Let them tear at you with their bitterness and their jealousy. It won't matter. Because no matter what they say, no matter how loud they scream, you will continue to rise. You will continue to move forward, unshaken, unstoppable, because you know who you are. And they will never know that. They will never know what it feels like to stand strong in the face of adversity, to continue walking your path while the world tries to knock you off course. There's a strange kind of peace in this realization, isn't there? A peace that comes from knowing that you no longer need anyone's validation, no longer need anyone's approval. You have learned to walk this path alone if necessary, to stand in your own power without needing anyone to cheer you on, because you know that the only person who needs to believe in you is you. And when you believe in yourself, when you know your worth, no one can take that from you. Not their words, not their judgment, not their attempts to tear you down. So, let them have their moment of illusion. Let them continue to point out your flaws, to try to break you. They will never understand the depth of your strength. They will never understand what it takes to rise from the ashes again and again. But you do. You know what it takes. You've done it time and time again, and you will do it again. Every time they think they've succeeded in breaking you, you will show them just how wrong they are. You will rise higher, stronger, more determined than ever. And here's the kicker. The more they try to break you, the more they try to tear you down, the more they expose themselves. They expose their own weaknesses. They expose their own lack of power. Because if they truly had the power they claim to have, they wouldn't need to tear down others to make themselves feel better. If they truly had strength, they wouldn't be so consumed by jealousy and hatred. They wouldn't waste their time pointing out your flaws if they were so secure in their own selves. But they're not. And that's why they try to break you. But you are different. You don't need to break anyone else to feel whole. You don't need to tear anyone down to build yourself up. You rise on your own without needing to step on anyone else to do it. That is your strength, and it terrifies them. It terrifies them because they can't understand how you do it. They can't understand how you keep going, how you keep rising when they've done everything in their power to make you fall. But the truth is, they will never understand, and that is their weakness. You've learned the secret to true strength, and now nothing can stop you. Not their words, not their actions, not their hatred. Nothing. Because you know that the power they once thought they had over you was nothing but an illusion. And now, you are the one in control. You are the one who holds the power. And that, my brothers and sisters, is a power they will never be able to take from you. So stand tall, stand proud. Let them throw their stones. Let them point their fingers. Let them continue to believe they have the power to break you. Because the truth is, they never did. And now, they never will. The truth is out. Their attempts to break you, to reduce you to nothing more than the sum of their accusations and their judgments, have failed. And they will continue to fail, no matter how many times they try. Each time they think they have you cornered, each time they believe they've struck the final blow, they will find that you are still standing, unbroken, and stronger than ever. You've learned the lesson that they will never grasp. Their power is temporary, and yours is eternal. They thought they could dismantle you piece by piece. They thought that by attacking your flaws, by exploiting your vulnerabilities, they could expose you as weak, as human, as just another person susceptible to the chaos and cruelty of the world. But they never understood the depth of your spirit. They never understood the resilience that lies within you, the strength that doesn't come from fighting back with force or fury, but from standing tall in the face of adversity. Every wound they try to inflict only served to make you stronger, Every insult was merely another layer of armor you forged for yourself, an armor that now glimmers with an unbreakable shine. You see, their actions were never about you. It was always about them, about their inability to look at their own reflection and confront the cracks in their own soul. Their inability to accept their own flaws led them to search for weakness in others, to try and tear down someone else so they wouldn't have to face the gnawing emptiness inside of them. Their need to point out your flaws wasn't about you at all. It was about their inability to reconcile with their own darkness. And that darkness will remain with them forever, gnawing at their insides, while you continue to rise above it, to move through the world with a heart unburdened by the shadows they live in. But here's the thing, no matter how hard they tried, they were never capable of truly breaking you because they never understood what makes you tick. They never understood the depth of your character, the purity of your heart, or the strength of your will. They thought they could bring you down by pointing to your flaws, as if they held any real weight, as if their criticisms could strip you of the value you've built within yourself. But you have learned in the most painful of ways that the only validation that matters is the validation you give yourself. And you've stopped asking for permission to exist, to take up space, to be who you are. Your value isn't defined by their approval or disapproval, by their fleeting judgments or harsh words. You know this now. You've learned it with every battle you've fought, every tear you've shed, every time you've been knocked down only to rise again. They thought their words could break you, but they didn't understand the power you hold within your own soul. They didn't know that your resilience isn't something that can be shattered with a few cruel words, with the bitterness of their hearts. They thought they could diminish you, but what they didn't realize is that you are a force far beyond their comprehension. They may have tried to break you, but in truth, they only showed you the cracks in their own egos. Every time they pointed out your flaws, they only exposed their own inability to accept the reality of who they are. They tried to diminish you, but the only person they ever diminished was themselves. The louder they screamed, the more they revealed how little control they had over their own lives, how much they feared the power within you. And while they were too focused on you, too obsessed with trying to tear you down, they missed the most important thing. Your strength is not in your ability to fight back, to get even, to stoop to their level. Your strength lies in your ability to walk through this world without letting their hatred touch you, without letting their brokenness define your worth. You've transcended their attempts to break you, and now it's no longer about proving them wrong, no longer about seeking validation from those who have always refused to see you for who you truly are. It's about knowing deep in your bones that they will never be able to understand the depth of your soul. They will never be able to understand the fight you've carried within you all these years. The way you've been carrying burdens, they will never know. And yet you keep moving forward with grace, with strength, with the kind of silent power that terrifies them, because they never saw the truth. They never understood that you didn't need to fight back the way they expected. They thought that breaking you would require them to destroy your spirit, to tear down your confidence, to make you doubt your worth. But they failed to realize that your power has always come from within. Your power has always come from the belief that no matter how hard they try, they cannot define you. They cannot destroy what you have built within yourself. You've learned that true strength isn't about physical power or crushing your enemies. True strength is about standing firm in who you are, no matter how much they try to tear you down. It's about walking through life with the knowledge that you are unbreakable because you are grounded in your own truth. And so, while they thought they had the power to break you, they were only playing out a script of their own insecurities. They were only projecting their fear onto you, their fear of what they could never be, their fear of your strength. Because the truth is, they didn't fear your flaws, they feared your power. They feared what would happen if you ever realized just how unshakable you really are. They feared that one day you would stop caring about their opinions, stop letting their criticism dictate your worth. And now that day has come. You've reached the point where their words no longer have the same power over you. You've reached the point where you no longer need their validation, no longer need their approval. And that's when they truly lose. Because once you realize that no one's opinion of you matters except your own, you have won. Once you realize that their attempts to break you only make you stronger, you have already overcome them. They never had the power to destroy you, not really. They only ever had the power to show you the strength that was always inside you. Their attempts to break you were never an attack on you. They were merely an opportunity for you to realize your own invincibility. They showed you your strength, your resilience, your ability to rise again and again, no matter how many times they try to knock you down. And that's the greatest victory of all, the victory that they will never know, the victory of realizing that you are stronger than anything they could ever throw your way, the victory of knowing that you are unbreakable, that you will always rise no matter what. You've learned the ultimate truth. They never had the power to break you, and they never will. Because the only thing that can break you is your own belief in their power. And you've long since discarded that belief. Now, you stand tall. You walk through this world with a quiet confidence, with the knowledge that nothing can touch you. You've learned that your value is not tied to the opinions of others, that your worth is not defined by their judgments. Your worth is inherent, built within you, and no one can take that away. They thought they could break you, but in reality, all they've done is show you just how powerful you truly are. And now, they will have to live with the knowledge that they never had the power to destroy you, because you've always been unbreakable, you've always been invincible, and now you know it. And so, I say to you today, never forget this truth. Never forget the power that lies within you. Let them point out your flaws. Let them try to tear you down. Let them scream and shout all they want. It won't matter. They will never break you, because you have already proven that nothing in this world has the power to take you down. And in the end, you will rise. You will continue to move forward, stronger than ever, while they remain trapped in their own darkness, never understanding the true power that you possess. They will never understand the depth of your strength. And that's what will make all the difference. In the end, remember this. Their attempts to break you were never about you. They were a reflection of their own weaknesses, their own fears. You have stood strong. You have risen above their negativity. And you have proven that no matter how hard they try, they can never defeat the power within you. Your strength is unshakable, your resilience unmatched, and your worth is yours alone to define. You are unbreakable, unstoppable, and their words will never hold power over you again. So stand tall, keep moving forward, and know that you will always rise, no matter what.